So this footage was shot just 4 days before the massive San Francisco earthquake. This movie was taken on Market Street in San Francisco. And as you can see, the cars are sharing the road with horses and buggies and pedestrians, and it looks like total chaos. And that's actually the whole reason behind the creation of license plates, because at the time, automobile owners were just kind of going crazy, and they were killing horses and pedestrians, and sort of had nobody could control them. So cities and states began requiring them to be tagged with license plates so that reckless auto owners couldn't get away with whatever they wanted. And soon, license plates were everywhere. Here's one from Pennsylvania in 1914. This is a dealer plate. Pennsylvania first started issuing plates in 1906 and went through 1915 in porcelain. Here's one from New Brunswick, Canada, 1912. This is the second year of issue for the province. Porcelain plates in New Brunswick went from 1911 through 1917. And here's a manufacturer's car plate from New Jersey from 1909. Okay, here's my video introducing you to the fascinating world of porcelain license plates. This is something I've been collecting for over 30 years now, and I actually have the largest collection in the world of porcelain license plates. Okay, so when were porcelain license plates used? Well, early on in the era of the automobile, starting around 1903, Massachusetts became the first state ever to produce a license plate for automobile owners. And from about 1903 through about 1915, porcelain was the material of choice for license plates. And when I say porcelain, I mean like, it's just a sheet of steel like this, coated in enamel and baked, and that's what, oops, that's not going to fit on there right now. But that's what porcelain license plates are like. It's kind of like signs. In fact, that's one of the reasons a lot of people make the mistake of assuming that porcelain license plates was this super fancy thing that rich car owners, because at the time you had to be super rich to own a car, that rich car owners wanted. But the reality is they weren't porcelain because that was fancy. They were porcelain because that was unskilled labor. Because the idea of making porcelain signs was around from the middle of the 19th century. And so the idea of just tossing a metal blank on and having it enameled and drying it was something that took no real labor, skilled labor. So that way porcelain license plates were just a simple thing to do. The idea of a stamped metal license plate, that technology was in its infancy, and it wasn't until the 20s and 30s really that metal became super effective as a form of license plate manufacturing. So real quick, let's see. A lot of cities issued license plates. For example, almost everything you see here is from the state of Oklahoma. Various cities: El Reno, Chickasha, Kingfisher, Perry, Okmulgee. That big one with the M is Muskogee. Those ones, 1903, 4, 5, and 6 are from Philadelphia. I also have a lot of state-issued plates, like these Vermont plates down here. I also specialize in Canadian plates. So there's a number of plates from Saskatchewan. The ones from at the very top from left to right are regular car plates. The ones below them are livery plates, which were like taxis or buses. The ones below that are garage plates, which is another word for dealers. And then you see the little motorcycle plates on left and right there. The O2 in the center there is a Massachusetts dealer plate. Dealer plates are marked with a 0 prefix. The main plates on the side are motorcycle plates. Motorcycle plates had an A prefix.
So in addition to collecting porcelain license plates, I also run a website devoted to their history. So I want to show you an example from the website. So here's the homepage. I don't know why it's all the way to the left on Chrome. Usually when I use Firefox, it's centered in the middle, so but whatever. So you go to the archive, and the archive tells you it's the website profiles the history of porcelain license plates from both the United States and Canada. So you choose the state or province you're interested. So since we're in California, let's check out California. And then it takes you all through basically everything that's known about the history of porcelain license plates from that state. So in California here, sometimes I'll show you early photographs like this. I'll give examples of all of the different plates. These are these really interesting, obscure early plates that were issued to motorists by the Automobile Club of Southern California before the state actually started making plates itself in 1914. These are really rare and really desirable and worth thousands of dollars. And then you just keep going down, and it's kind of like it tells you everything you want to know: the year, how it was used, whether it's a passenger, or dealer, whatever, the color, the size, and specifications of the various things. If I know anything about the manufacturer, or if I know anything about how many were issued in a given year, we talk about that in the write-up. Here we're going to go through the various porcelain license plates that were issued by individual cities in the state of California: Colton, Long Beach, Los Angeles, Sacramento. And then if you go to part 2 of the California archive, you will get into the state issued plates. So the state of California began issuing porcelain license plates in 1914. And so you just basically go through, here's the regular car plates, scroll down a little bit. I use original newspaper clippings and illustrations and photographs and headlines. Keep going down through 1916. That's through 1919. That's the end of it. Then we get to dealer plates, and you just keep going. There's emergency plates, exempt plates, which were like police vehicles and fire vehicles that were exempt from state taxes. Motorcycle plates, and motorcycles in California are particularly interesting because they were curved both vertically and horizontally to fit the shape of a motorcycle fender. A few other states did the same thing. And so basically that's what the website is. You just go there and it gives you anything you could ever possibly want to know and more about porcelain license plates from every state and province, from every state of the United States and every province of Canada.
Well, here's a couple more images. I'll close out my video. This is a 1910 Kentucky plate that some kids used on their little go-kart. Here's a 1914 Connecticut motorcycle plate that was used on this early Indian motorcycle. And this one's interesting because it's from New Orleans, Louisiana, 1913. New Orleans issued porcelain license plates both for cars and motorcycles between 1912 and 1914. And finally, the state of Vermont, which issued porcelain license plates starting way back in 1905 and continued all the way through 1915.